So good, this bike. Nukeproof, always doing a good job. Hey everyone, Andy Sykes here, and I'm out on this really lovely day to take a look at this, the brand new Nukeproof Megawatt, Nukeproof's first ever EMTB. Now, Nukeproof have taken a few years to jump on board the EMTB bandwagon, and I'm really happy they've done that because in the early years, the EMTB boom years, there were some really ropey e-bikes, and I'm glad that Nukeproof took a few years to design and develop something that not only looks good, but it handles the terrain really well too. Okay, boost for down. That's my rule. Eco up, boost down. So this is the Megawatt from Nukeproof, 170mm travel front and rear mullet, based on the Mega, hence the name. It's got very similar suspension kinematic, super playful little bike. I'm on the medium. It's a bit short for me, 455 reach. I probably want to go for a large with a 475, but it means on corners like that, it's effortless. It's so much fun. This is the factory spec bike. Amazing componentry on this. I'm gonna watch this corner now. It's a bit blown out. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, that corner is well blown out. Yeah, amazing componentry on this. Fox factory suspension front and rear. We got full XD drivetrain, 4-piston XD brakes, GT Swiss wheels. Got bike yoke dropper post. And Nukeproof components too, which are amazing. The only thing I'd want to change on it is the tyres. Like the Maxxis Ascii and the High Roller are a great tyre, but the OEM white label models are just not strong enough for an e-bike, and I keep puncturing them. So good, this bike. Nukeproof, always doing a good job. Oh, it's well nutrition today. Now, it's hardly surprising that a Nukeproof handles rough terrain, especially one with the Mega name attached to it. The Mega Enduro bike is probably one of the best selling and obviously one of the most competitive and race-winning enduro bikes in the market today. So for Nukeproof to create an e-bike and base it on the Mega seems like a winning combination, and hence the Megawatt. Now, the Megawatt comes in 3 build options. There's the factory that I have here, there's an Elite, and there's a Comp. And each of those comes with the same aluminium frame. Each one of those is a mullet, so that you have a 29-inch wheel on the front and a 27.5-inch wheel on the rear. And each one uses the same Shimano motor and battery system. Well, when I say same, they all come with the same motor, but the Comp, the 4,999 version of the bike, comes with a slightly smaller 504 watt-hour battery. The Elite and the factory come with a 630 watt-hour battery, but don't despair because Nukeproof have included adjustable battery mounts in the Megawatt, and that is an extremely clever feature. And it means if you were to go for the Comp with the smaller battery and wanted to upgrade to a bigger battery for more range at a later date, you can. But if you went for the factory or the Elite and you wanted to decrease some weight and not worry about range so much, you could put a 504 watt-hour battery in here and actually make your factory or Elite bike even lighter and perhaps even handle even better. On top of that, Nukeproof are offering the Megawatt in 5 sizes. We've got small, medium, large, extra large, and double XL. Small and medium-sized bikes have a 77.5-degree seat tube angle and a 64-degree head tube angle, whereas the large, extra large, and extra large bikes have a 78-degree seat tube angle. I'm on a medium here. Now, I'm 178 centimeters, and normally I would have gone for a large with the steeper seat tube angle and 475mm reach, but obviously it's very difficult to get bikes these days, so the medium has worked quite well for me. It has a 455mm reach, and on my first ride it felt a little bit compact, but descending the actual shorter reach makes it a little bit easier to chuck around corners, especially considering the weight. Being an aluminium bike with a big battery, it isn't a particularly lightweight bike. It's not overly heavy, but you do notice the weight if you have to lift it over a fence or if you're lifting it into the back of a van. This weighs around 23.4 kilograms, 23.7 kilograms, tubeless, and they do go up to about 24 kilograms. Again, because of that large battery and aluminium frame, it's hardly surprising. But the good thing is you don't really need to worry about range. With a 630 watt hour battery in here, 85 newton meters of torque, I basically leave this bike in eco everywhere I go and never have to have range anxiety or look at my battery bar ever. The only times I put it into boost is on some really technical uphills or when I'm going downhill so I can get up to speed a little bit faster. Now, obviously, being based on the Mega, it has amazing suspension. It also has a lot of suspension. It has 170mm travel on the front and the rear. And Nukeproof say that this bike is catering for all mountain, enduro and super enduro riders. So it's got all bases covered there. The suspension kinematics has been changed slightly to suit EMTB riders. It still has a really nice stable pedal platform and it has lots of anti-squat when you're climbing. And that makes for a very efficient climb. Even with the motor turned off, this is a good climbing bike. But once you start descending, the anti-rise lowers off a little bit, and then obviously you have a little bit better suspension traction and performance on the downhills, and that's where the suspension really blows you away. This thing can take repetitive, big rock strikes, drops and jumps in its stride, and it's one of those bikes that the faster you go, the better it feels. It is absolutely incredible. Even on my first ride with the suspension not completely set up for my weight and how I like it, it blew me away just how good this is. The Nukeproof Giga also blew me away just how good that suspension is. Nukeproof have a suspension magic formula and yeah, they're doing a good job with it. Other things that help with that suspension, obviously the kinematic, and in this case, we get a high-end Fox Float X2 Kashima coated rear shock. There are also enduro bearings throughout the back end, including on the rear shock mount itself. So super smooth and supple suspension even off the top. The geometry of this bike, as I've already mentioned, 455. The short chainstay on this, I believe it's 442mm across the range of each bike. So yeah, you've got a really playful back end, but you've got that large 29-inch wheel to soak up and roll over the big bumps. As I've already mentioned, there are 3 models in the range. The Comp is $4,999.99. It comes with that smaller battery. You have the Elite for $5,999.99, and then you have the Factory for $6,999.99. It's a lot of money, but you do get a lot of bike for that money. And the build kit is very, very good. Fox factory suspension front and rear, Shimano XT drivetrain, 1x12 drivetrain, Shimano 4-piston brakes, and obviously Nukeproof finishing kit, including bars and stem. We even get a bike yoke dropper post, which is a very, very good dropper post. But again, because this is a medium-sized bike, it only comes with a 150mm dropper, and obviously I'd want more. I'd want 170mm because of my height, and this is why I'm running so much C-post out of the frame. One thing that I would change on this build are the tires. Now, I've got no problem with the Assegai and the High Roller 2. I do have a problem with the OEM white label versions though. The sidewalls simply are not strong enough for an aggressive big travel e-bike, and I've punctured the rear tire multiple times. This is tubeless, I've pinch flatted it, and I've had to use so many little anchovies to fix it. It's more anchovy than tire now. So yeah, if you were looking to buy one of these, that's one of the first things I would change, the tires. Other than that though, it's an absolutely stonking bike with some really, really great features. And obviously because it runs the EP8 system, you can tune the motor, you can also run 2 profiles while you're out on a ride, and it has a replaceable battery too. So if you were going on a massive ride, you could in theory carry an extra battery with you. Anyway, that's it. That's the Nukeproof Megawatt. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And I've got a full review over on Singletrack World now that you can read. Thanks for your time. See you all soon. Bye-bye.